the look. Entrepreneur, designer, stylist, mother. Those are all the adjectives that describes our guest today. I want to introduce to you Olivia Hollaus. Olivia, it's so great to have you on The Look today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be a part of your show.
It's really exciting. I see all your products, they're so exciting and innovative. Protect your shoes. It's something I would never have thought about. And I know our audience and viewers would love to know how you put this together. How did it start? What was the vision? So let's start to take a trip down memory lane.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. What an introduction. Much too kind. But how I started Protect My Shoes really is because I just love shoes. There's nothing earth-shattering. I'm a shoe addict like so many people out there. And one morning I had my aha moment, literally when I had just purchased a brand new pair of beautiful designer shoes. And just like a kid in a candy store, super excited to take them out. And I grab the shoe box and I open it and I'm just sifting through all this paper and more paper. We have the duster bags, but then all of this paper and the tissue paper, which comes like this, right?
Right.
So in that moment, I thought, I just spent all this money on these shoes, but the packaging to me just did not feel right. And I just dove into finding a solution that would be more long-term, not just practical, but also stylish and at the same time sustainable. So this is how I created my little shoe stuffers. They can be, I also call them shoe cushions, shoe protectors, but I'm really known as the shoe stuffer girl. And I had this idea and I just ran with it. And the first thing I did was make sure I got the patent. So we have the design and the utility patent on this, and the rest is history.
This is so exciting. I remember when I was young and I had those first pair of wonderful loafers and boots, and I got those cedar shoe trees. Clunky. I know it had a screw in the middle that you'd put it in and stuff it in, and it'd make your boot or shoe very wide. It didn't look good. It took up a lot of room. I know it kept them dry. And boy, in so many decades, we've come now to something light, sustainable. It does the same job. It's beautiful. It's fashionable.
I know if I took $1 every time someone tells me that, I would be a millionaire. But no, it's so true. And it's lightweight, which is also really great travel essential. So it's not just a great product to keep your shoes beautifully preserved in the closet, but also when you're traveling. How many times do you travel, you get to your destination and your shoes are squashed up? And it's funny you mentioned men because we are working on a men's line. So that is coming up in Q1 of 2024. So this is actually news breaking here. Nobody's known about this yet. So you're the first to hear that.
And it's first here on The Look TV. So we're really excited about that. In marketing, Olivia, we always say we have 4 Ps: product, place, promotion, and price. But guess what? There's a 5th P, really important. I tell this to all my fashion students, and that's packaging. I'm looking at your packaging. It is bar none incredible. Can you tell us how you mastered that 5th P in marketing so all of our viewers who open those boxes and see some really nice packaging, but yours is overpoweringly incredible. Could you just walk us through, how did you come up with it?
Yeah, no, this is definitely just an Olivia creation, but I agree with you. Packaging is so important. It's the first impression, especially when you're in a boutique, in a department store. You have so much product to look at, so you really want to stand out. And my package has evolved, quite frankly. But what I wanted to make sure was that our prints were seen. So we have this clear lid because we have so many beautiful, fun prints. We have a print for every personality out there. You can go solid black and white bow, very Chanel inspired, or you can go with the florals and the chic leopard. And so I wanted to make sure that you got to see the prints. So we always have a clear lid. Then my packaging has evolved because at first I had some really cute illustrations, but it didn't really tell the customer what the product was. They're like looking at it. So I modified it and said, I need to put actual pictures of the product with the shoes. And then, you see it, protect my shoes, signature shoe stuffers, you get it. You don't even need to read the back, even though we have information. And I think that that's kind of the key. And another thing about this product line is that it is a great gift. How many times do you go to a housewarming party, a dinner party, the hostess gift? I mean, usually it's a bottle of wine, flowers. This is something you bring. It's a conversation starter. Christmas, all the holidays, birthdays. So it's also a really great gift. So packaging plays a huge part in that as well.
This got me to think sustainability. It's such an important thing in fashion today. We have fast fashion. We have the environment, the UN 17 resolutions, that global warming, everything that we are so afraid of. What's happening to the planet? And so many companies and designers are looking into sustainable fashion. We have companies like H&M and Zara looking to be sustainable by 2030. Is it possible? Sure it is. But I'm looking at these cute little wonderful little holders, and I'm looking at shoes and saying, wow, you have a pair of shoes. I have some shoes that for many years that keep them in good shape. But if I can keep the sustainability of the shoe by keeping it in good shape, that it's not caving in, it's not cracking, that wonderful leather and so forth, it's something I'm going to have. I can wear it. If I need to give it away or rebrand it or repurpose it, I can do that. So by something so small and something we don't even think about, we're saving the planet by one little cushion at a time. How cool is that? So you are doing something really unique, and I'm sure you thought about this, but every time you sell these or give them away or donate them and whatever, you're really helping somebody save a pair of shoes, protect a pair of shoes, which is helping us, helping the environment, saving the planet in a small, small way. And I'm not sure that was your original purpose, but it's something that is just evolved into something so incredible. Is that something that has kind of shouted out to you, or as you see what's happening on the earth today and with companies, is this something that you're thinking more about?
It's, you bring such an important point, and I'm just so happy that in the fashion world, sustainability is becoming a huge commitment for so many brands, small and big. It is definitely something that is at the core of so many brands. And for me, when I first started, that actually was in my mind. Because again, I had my aha moment when I was sifting through that box and all I saw was paper. So right from the get-go, I go, this is wasteful. This is uninspiring. Let's create an alternative solution that is long-term. So right from the get-go, so maybe my timing was a little bit premature, but the timing now is fantastic. And you bring up such a good point. So yes, I sell direct to consumer and I sell to other boutiques, but the area that I really focus a lot of my time on is private label, because we want to work with brands to not only elevate their packaging, but answer that issue that they might be having in their sustainability strategy, because we can brand these beautiful shoe cushions with their logos, their fabrics, the ribbon. We can change everything, embroider, anything that they want. For the most part, we can do. And that's the big picture, so that when you are buying these beautiful, expensive shoes, you're giving your customers an amazing way to elongate the longevity of their shoes. And at the same time, these brands are also acknowledging the sustainability part of it all. So it's kind of like a full circle thing. So that's the big picture.
Can you tell us a little bit, again, going back that road, going back into the past, into the yesteryear of Olivia, and telling us what brought you from there to here, and what are some of those moments that our audience can say, wow, this is inspirational. In fact, Dr. Fashion, let me take a minute, let me write that down, let me get inspired, or let me play that video again and hear what Olivia is saying. So a couple things that maybe you could tell the audience that really can be inspirational to them, and some things that they might not have known about you that they can use in their lives and perhaps in their careers.
So where do I even begin? So yeah, I think just I mean, I'm still growing. I'm still evolving. I don't think we ever stop. It's amazing to look back and then look at now where I am. It's a journey. So yes, I went to university. I studied overseas in Beijing. I majored in Mandarin. And when I went as a junior, I just loved it. And it kind of became a passion. I really wanted to become fluent in Mandarin. So I graduated and just picked a random date on the calendar and flew back to China. No job lined up. And 1 year turned into 10 years. So obviously I'm going kind of very quick through my 20s, but I ended up getting a great job, worked in marketing, and just learned so much and grew so much. And I think it was, for me, it really was a huge boost in confidence, because if you can survive in Beijing, you can survive anywhere. And I came back here and just had this idea. And I think it's probably a bit of the Leo in me. I'm a Leo. So I think a lot with my heart. I'm not super analytical. So if I get an idea and I love it, I'm just going to dive into it. And then later on, I might say, uh-oh, what did I do? But in a way that naivete has served me, because I just go for it. I just think being authentic is really important. I don't think, I'm not strategic. I'm not thinking, how am I going to grow my personal brand? How am I going to grow my brand? I think when you do things from a good place, from a place where you're authentic, you're using your heart, and you're just working hard, I think things happen. So I think that authenticity, that persistence, and that consistency, that's been my word this year for 2023, being consistent. Because sometimes it's hard. As an entrepreneur, it's hard, it's lonely. And, if you believe in yourself, because you have to believe in yourself, then otherwise nobody else will, right? So just to keep moving forward and just being persistent and consistent, then I think things do come about. And for me also, you mentioned me being involved in the community. I also am a big proponent that giving back is incredibly important. I think community and creating a community and sub-communities around yourself, which kind of helps expand your network, is actually, in the long term, quite beneficial too. You never know what opportunities can come. But I think that just having a sense of community is just amazing. So I don't know. I don't know if that even answered your question.
It did.
But
it did answer the question. And I think that's a lot to take in. And I love some of those buzzwords. I think those are incredible. Do you know, and I'm holding this beautiful little
ballerina.
Very cute. So I'm asking myself, Olivia Hollaus, 5 or 10 years from now, what will you be doing? What will the crystal ball hold? Do you have any idea where will this morph into? Protect your shoe. Will it morph into something else, or anything on the horizon? Maybe we're going to be doing a movie or a musical or a play. Your inspiration, anything that you can see or share with us, just like you did that you're coming out with a menswear.
Yes.
Anything that's coming up on the horizon, something that's tickling your fancy, an inspiration that you had, a goal, something that, just going to a wow moment of the future. Anything coming up that you can share with us that...
Dr. Fashion, if I had a crystal ball and I knew where I was going to be in 5-10 years, that would be amazing. I would love that. But
and we would all be millionaires.
And we'd be great. Yes. I really don't know, but I've in my 20s, when I first went to China, I didn't think I was going to be there for 10 years, right? And then I come here and had one son, and I'm like, I'm done, no more kids, I'm good. And then I have a second one who's great. But point being is, you just don't know, right? We don't know what tomorrow is going to hold. So I just hope that, life will still be very blessed, and that my kids are going to be healthy and growing up beautifully, and that we're going to have our health and just, I don't know. I wish I had a crystal ball, but I think that I also have that attitude of taking things day by day, and what's meant to be is meant to be. So I just trust in that journey.
And the gamble you took, or the gambles. I mean, it's never a right time. I always tell the story of my grandmother, who was very, very big in luxury fashion for many years. Our company was Martha's, and we had stores really Florida and New York, and sold all around the world. And she started in the height of the Depression in New York. And she got a loan of $100 from her father because she didn't want to take money from her husband. And she started a multi-million-dollar business. And when she was interviewed years later by New York Times and whatever, and they asked her, how did you start at that time? And she said, I was young and I was crazy and I didn't know any different. What advice would you give to any of our viewers about, starting a business, being an entrepreneur, following their passion, following their heart? Today, when things are so difficult, we don't know what's happening. We don't know if we're going to have, if the government's going to shut down this next year, or where we're going to be, or the troubles in the world and on the planet. What can you say to people who are watching, maybe who want to start a business, who want to do something different and explore? Can you give advice to those men and women and even students and young people who maybe want to take a gamble, a risk, and do something and start their own company and be successful?
I would love that, because I just love entrepreneurship. And I also have to say, I love how now universities are promoting entrepreneurship. When I was going to school, that wasn't a thing. That wasn't even a major. So I love that. I think just no regrets. You need to jump in, because if you don't do it, then you go, what if? And for me, when I decided to leave my full-time job to completely, fully commit to protect my shoes, I told myself, you know what? I have to do this. Worst case scenario, I tried it, I did my best, and I can go find another job. But you have to just give it a try. Easier said than done, for sure. And I've been approached by a lot of people saying, I have an idea, what do you think? And one thing I always tell them is, don't wait for it to be perfect. When I look back at my first collection, honestly, the shape wasn't perfect. There was some little production issues. But in that moment, I just ran with it and I launched, and then you perfect it. It's never going to be perfect. We're always still working on, our products, our website, our social media, our pitch. My brand book is always being updated. I mean, we're always adjusting and trying to be better. So don't wait for it to be perfect. Just go for it. Worst case scenario is I tried my best. Most businesses, unfortunately, don't succeed. But I think having that courage is really something to be said. And I applaud everybody out there who's trying this, because this is not an easy path.
Yeah, exactly. And I totally agree with you. I was going to ask you something I ask students and when I'm interviewing people, we always ask them, what kind of advice would you give to the next generation, or to Gen Z or Gen A or Gen X or whatever? What would you do to them? I'm going to throw it a little bit different. I'm going to give you a hypothetical. Okay, so I'm going to be sending a note or a short letter into space. It's a time capsule, and we have them around. That's going to be opened 50 years from now, maybe here on Earth, or maybe since we're exploring Mars. And Olivia Hollaus is going to be writing something in there for that generation, or 50 years from now. And obviously, the generation now probably will be grandparents or great-grandparents, and maybe a newer generation obviously will be around. What words do you think, some words could be on that list or that memo or that note when somebody opens it up and say, oh, here's something from Olivia Hollaus and protect my shoes, and here's the words of wisdom?
Honestly, very simple. Be kind to each other. I think that kindness, I always tell my kids, kill them with kindness, when they're complaining about someone. Just be kind to each other. It's so simple, but I think that kindness goes a really, really long way. And when you're kind to each other, you help each other, you lift each other up, and then I think magic really happens.
I think this is just such an incredible product, such an incredible line, and it's just something that is so simple. It's so simple, so elegant, and you can do so much with it. And I think that's basically what a very successful entrepreneur and innovator is, right? Not only rechanging or retooling, changing the wheel, but coming up with things that are different and really solving
a problem
of an individual, society here. Our feet, comfort, protecting our shoe, protecting the environment. I think it's so incredible. And I know you're going to show us products and you're going to show us your line and everything like that. And I think it's going to be really incredible that seeing some of the things that we're seeing now on the screen, and we're seeing some of your different packaging, when you open the box and how inviting it is. And now we're going to be seeing soon the men's products and so forth. And this is just very incredible that this is a line that's coming of age. It's come of age. It's so simple. And you're selling it also to so many stores and companies. Obviously, they would, if they didn't feel the same way, they're not going to buy this. They're not going to buy this product and have it on their shelves.
No.
Or not order it. And also, tell us a little bit more. A big thing is private label. I know you mentioned it. And a lot of companies, Macy's, Bloomingdale's, we know have Macy's has INC and Thalia and about 10 or 12 other private labels. Bloomingdale's has it, Sears, and it's very profitable because, again, it's manufactured and the product development and product knowledge is done by the company. So the profit stream is incredible. There's no really middleman. But the idea, this is great that you are doing that. And it's something that students and young entrepreneurs can think about having their own private label. Can you just briefly tell us how that evolved for you, what a private label is and how you use it? Because it's really important. We don't all think about a private label and how companies are using it and how somebody like you and Protect Your Shoe is also a private label.
Well, I think for me, private label is really where my company can grow to scale, right? You always want to think, how can I grow and scale my company? So selling to the consumer online, it's not easy. I mean, I speak to all these other fellow entrepreneurs. It's great. You get to control your message. You get to interact with your customers. But there's also, all these social media platforms, analytics. You have to pay for ads. It's a lot. So that is actually a very difficult area to kind of continue to grow. Whereas private label, once you get one account that now is going to include shoe stuffers in all of their packaging as part of their brand, then now you've got this amazing cash flow because they got to keep reordering. And now we're talking quantities. And so that's also another reason why I do spend a lot of my time. But this is where I also really see my product being applied to its fullest potential. Because again, we're part of the packaging, we're getting rid of the paper. You're also elevating the customer experience. Now brands are thinking, how do I make myself stand out? Why am I special? Like, why is a customer going to come to me and not go to a competitor? Again, so many brands out there. So this is also kind of a nice way to help them stand out. So that's kind of the big picture. And I do think that that's how I will continue to scale my business. To me, Instagram is my platform. I feel like that's an easy way to share my story, to share the brand story, the evolution. And it's a combination of showcasing the product and all these great collaborations that I get to do with other creatives, which is something I love. And we have a big one coming out in Q4. But also I get to kind of show the behind the scenes, some personal side to my life, because I think, again, people now associate a brand with the person behind it, with the founder. I think when you're able to kind of merge the two, your story is compelling.
So we're so excited to be a part of your journey, where you've come from, where you're going, where you will be going, and we're going to be following it on the look. So I know sooner than later, you're going to be coming back to us and showing us all these great products and what you're doing. Or if not, we're going to take our cameras on the road and follow you and see what you're doing in the warehouse and packaging this, which I think is going to be really exciting. So Olivia, thank you so much for being part of one of our first episodes here on the Look TV, where we look at fashion, beauty, and retail in all its glory. And we talk to the most inspirational, fun, exciting people out there on the planet, which is you, and really kind of get into your brain, get into your psyche, and find out what you're doing, how you're getting there. So it's been exciting, and we can't wait to have you on again, and we wish you the best.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Fashion. You're amazing. You're inspiring, and your enthusiasm is infectious. So thank you so much.
So for our co-host, Faith Ferris, and myself, Dr. Andrew Bernstein, aka Dr. Fashion, thank you again for being with us today on The Look. Until next time, your look is our look.